Hey guys, it's koolysmiley and April just ended, so you guys know what that means. It's time for some of your guys' favorite series on my channel. Let's do some monthly favorites. If you guys have never seen these before, hi, welcome. Every month we like to talk about the products we use, the things we did, and our favorite experiences that we had in the month previous. It's kind of like a little gratitude journal for the end of the month, and it's a nice little check-in. I like to hear what your favorite things were last month in the comment section below as well, so feel free to make your own list. First thing on my list in April was a television show because I was in a binging mood at the beginning of this month. I binged all of Fleabag in 2 days. 2 days! Fleabag, fun show, great show, made me cry, made me laugh, made me realize what a trip it is to be AFAB, and it was just really fucking good. Just so well written. Easily one of my top favorite shows of all time now. I'm actually really sad there's only 2 seasons at the moment, but yeah, I am obsessed with this show. It made me feel things. Yeah, still waiting on season 3. Hoping season 3's coming. Never thought a show would make me so attracted to a priest. I went somewhere else for a moment. I went somewhere else. Let's get out of that. Let's get out of that. Moving on. Yeah, Fleabag's really good. If you haven't seen it, I don't recommend watching it with family. Don't do that. Honestly, don't watch it with anyone but yourself. Just watch it alone. And maybe watch it sober. But it's really good. Next thing on my list is also another television show, which you shouldn't watch sober. Pour yourself a nice glass of wine, sit down, and watch season 2 of Bridgerton, because let me tell you, it hits. It hits, dude. Okay, I watched season 1 when it came out, and I rewatched that season 3 times. It lit a spark in me that had not been lit in a very, very long time. Some could say ever. And I really, really liked the first season. And here's the thing. The second season revolves around my least favorite character from the first season. And let me tell you, it takes a minute for you to even like him at all. I hated him. I still kind of do. But then there's a moment where you're like, oh? And then you go charge your vibrators. That's a good reminder. If you haven't done that recently, everybody take a moment. I'll pause the video. Go charge your vibrators. And then go watch season 2 of Bridgerton. Anyway, I'm gonna rewatch it for the 3rd time later. We don't talk about Bridgerton. Next thing on my list is another watchable thing that I watched in April. I went to the theaters and I saw the newest A24 horror film called X, which is just a journey. This is on my favorites list for 2 reasons. I really did have fun watching this movie, so the movie is a favorite. The other favorite is just going to the movie theater alone. I have started doing that recently, especially during the pandemic, and it's very liberating, and it feels really nice, especially when you like spontaneously decide to do it out of nowhere. Love doing that. And I'm glad I did that because I had no future knowledge of this movie. All I knew that this was a horror movie based around a group that was going somewhere to film a porno, and then it turns into a horror film. So that's all I knew. I hadn't watched the trailer. I'd only seen like 2 pictures that were on my Instagram, and I just kind of went. I won't spoil anything, obviously. I will say the movie is fun. In my opinion, it's not scary, but it's gory and fun. I laughed out loud many times, not laughing at the movie, but laughing with the movie. And I had a really good time watching it. I think some of the talent that are coming out of horror films lately is just immaculate. There's a young actress from season 2 of You who is in this. Her name is Jenna Ortega, and I have seen her popping up in horror a lot lately, and I just think that she is going to become just like the next generation of Final Girl. There's something about her that is just so captivating and awesome, and in this movie she's just great. And also Mia Goth, who plays another one of the leads in this movie, I also just watched her a few days ago in Marrowbone, also on my list. Marrowbone, great film, super interesting. I'm gonna probably make a video separately about some of my favorite horror movies that I've seen in 2022. If you guys would like that from me, let me know in the comment section below. Mia Goth, she is so talented. She kind of swept me away a little bit, and I really enjoyed her too. Like I said, the movie is not outwardly scary, but it is just a fun fucking ride. This is a very sexy film, and it's fun, and it's self-aware. I just really enjoyed it. I did. I really did. And I don't think it's spectacular, but it's fun. The final watchable on my favorites list is What Happened to Monday. I actually saw this on a list online that was like underrated movies that you need to watch on Netflix. And let me tell you, it's underrated. I don't know how many people have seen this film. It takes place in a world where no one is allowed to have siblings because the world is overpopulated, and 7 girls successfully make it to their 30s without being caught because they're identical, not twins, I guess septuplets, because they're identical septuplets who have been named per day of the week, and that's the day of the week that they get to go out and exist. And one day one of the sisters goes missing, and it is a fun ride. It is intense from like the first moment you start watching it. It's well written. Glenn Close and Willem Dafoe are both in it, and they're great. And I watched it with my dad, and I was actually so pleasantly surprised by how interesting it was. Really fun watch. Kind of dark though. This actually leads me to the next thing on my list. I think this has been on my favorites list before, but I had to put it in again because my dad came to visit me again, and my dad visiting is always a favorite because when he comes, you get to hang out. He gets to kind of help me do some of my house chores. He may or may not have helped me with my taxes this time around, but it was really nice. We actually cooked like every day he was here. We went for a hike with my dog, and we just caught up, and it was just really, really nice. I felt like it was a very much needed visit, and I was very grateful for it. The next thing on my list is the fact that I got to be on Achievement Hunter, y'all. If you guys don't know what Achievement Hunter is, you've been living under a rock, and that's totally fine and cool, but guess what? Rooster Teeth hit me up recently, and they were like, hey, we'd love to have you on one of our shows. And this past month, I got to be on a live streamed episode of Achievement Hunter with my friend Blizzbear, and we played Dead by Daylight, and we played Mario Party, and I definitely almost won both of those, but definitely didn't. Anyway, I had a great time, and I may or may not be going back to Rooster Teeth soon to film something else. We'll see. But yeah, I just want to give some love to Rooster Teeth because they've been taking care of me recently, and I'm so grateful for the experience. Everybody there is so nice. Everybody there is so funny. Everybody there is so laid back. I had the best time. I was welcomed in with open arms. I wasn't even nervous. The night before the live stream, I didn't sleep a wink because I was so anxious. And when I got there, we actually got there early, and everybody was just so chill, and we were already having so much fun before we even hit live that I forgot that I was nervous the night before, and there was no nerves. It was just great. Great experience. Would love to do it again. I'm going to bring up something else that I've actually already had on a favorites, but it goes back in because I went back to the Ren Faire. I love the Ren Faire. The Ren Faire is life. The Ren Faire is love. The Ren Faire is everything. I went back for 2 weekends, but I have to tell y'all, like, it's not just scratching that like fantasy itch that I've always needed scratched. Like, it's also just nice to feel like I've found my people. Like, everybody there is just like me. And it's just, I just feel like I found a family. And not only that, but like I got closer to my friends that I was already friends with. I feel like I'm finally opening up this part of me that has been closed off for 2 years, maybe more. That leads me to the next thing on my list, which is Platonic Intimacy. Growing up, I didn't really get a whole lot of physical touch from family members. It was all very like, you know, we love you. And that was that. I don't know. It was like, I never really felt it because it was all just kind of words. You know what I mean? And so I realized that it kind of gave me a crutch growing up, that I was really only touchy-feely with like my theater kids, but there was always like sexual innuendo with that because we're theater kids. You know, but now I'm almost 27, and I'm finally realizing that part of the reason I search for romantic connection is for that intimacy that I don't receive. And I don't need that in a romantic aspect. Why shouldn't I be getting that kind of intimacy from people who I spend most of my time with and love and trust over somebody that I just met that I'm picturing to have a future with? You know what I mean? It just, to me, that makes sense, and it didn't make sense before. It never even was an option before. So yeah, kissing my friends and holding my friends' hands and cuddling my friends, that's not something I used to do. And I'm gonna tear up, but it's just really nice, and it's been a big comfort to me recently. Obviously, that isn't for everybody. I have friends that aren't touchy-feely, and, you know, you just gotta respect that. I was that friend for the longest time, but I feel like I'm finally kind of coming out of my shell, and I've been doing just fine. Gotta be down because I want it. The next thing on my list kind of just comes with communication. I guess you could say communication is a favorite, but actually, I don't even think it is just communication. I am starting to unlearn my people-pleasing tendencies. I'm kind of putting myself out there again, and I'm meeting new people, and I have boundaries. And I didn't used to allow myself to have boundaries. That's new for some people, especially people who are just meeting me. And instead of beating around the bush lately, I've just been straightforward, you know? And it's hard and it's scary, but like just being like, hey, like, just, you know, like, I'm super down to be a touchy-feely friend, but I'm not looking for anything else other than that. You know, or hey, like the thing that you said earlier kind of like struck a chord with me, and I would prefer to like move the conversation in a different direction. Or I don't really allow people to talk to me in this tone, so I'm going to remove myself from the conversation unless you want to change it, kind of thing. It's a little firm, but at the end of the day, it is so much better for your mental health to just say what you're thinking. Just say it. Do yourself a favor and just stop beating around the bush. Stop worrying about how people are going to react to you placing your boundaries, because at the end of the day, your boundaries are self-care. It's self-love, it's self-empathy, it is self-compassion. Take care of you. I don't really know how to explain this final favorite on my list, but it was just a TikTok that I saw recently that said something that made me break down and spiral, but in a good way. I saw a TikTok, and this man basically just says, you have become the person that your younger self would have felt safe with. Hearing that really was validating. This person on my For You page doesn't even know me, you know? And they don't know that everybody that is going to see that video has done that. But I truly believe that people who are on healing journeys will become the person that their younger version would have felt safe with. And I know that that's true in my case. The reason that struck a chord with me is because I have been in fight or flight mode since I was born. For different reasons. But now, I've been talking about this in therapy. I'm tired all the time, you know? And it's because I've been in fight or flight my whole life, but now I finally feel safe. And that is because of me. That is because of the work I have done. I have finally let my inner child feel safe. No one's healing journey is linear. And a lot of the time, our healing journeys don't feel like we've made any progress at all. But that TikTok really proved to me how much progress I have made. And even though March was a horrible month for me and April was only slightly better, I am so proud of myself. And I am so grateful that my inner child has me now, because the child version of myself needed someone like me. She really did. And she never had it. Sorry to make tears. My makeup looks so good, so I need to stop. I hope if you're watching this video one day, you can say the same thing about yourself. And if you already can, I want you to know that I'm really fucking proud of you for doing that work. I'm really, really proud of you. Those are all of my favorites from April. I am slowly improving. March, I told you guys, March was a really, really rough month for me. And I told you guys that in my last favorites. But I said that I was going to try to hold myself accountable at the end of that video and make sure at this video that I did enough journaling this month to kind of make myself proud, I guess. Because I realize that when I do journal, I feel better. I just do. Even on my worst days, journaling still makes me feel like a little bit better. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't journal a lot in April, but I did journal. I didn't journal at all in March. So I'm getting back on it. I've been trying to make time for journaling in the mornings. Even on the days at the beginning of April when things were still really, really difficult for me, I at least got out my phone and filmed a virtual journal entry, and I think it is helping. I fell off journaling and I was the worst I ever was. It's just proof. I really think it is. Like, Coolie, that's proof. You're doing better this month and you've been journaling this month. Let's hop back into it. Let's take care of yourself some more. Anyway, I love these favorites videos. They always just make me feel better. They always remind me, they always motivate me. There is so much good in the world, even when we feel like things are so dark. So please consider making your favorites list. I would love to see what was on it in April. And if you haven't made a favorites list before, consider doing it in May. I'd like to see that in the comment section in a month. Let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a like and subscribe if you haven't, especially if you're new. I would love to see you here more often. Don't forget, I create content on pretty much every other friggin' platform. See all these places you can follow me? Follow me if you're not already, okay? I'm working my booty off, and so are my editors. So check out these things, and I will see you guys on the YouTubes later, skaters. Let's talk about our favorite things that happen every month together, friends.